Brian, what are you anticipating today from this hearing?
Yeah, hey, Boris, great to be with you. Look, what I think this judge is going to do is he's going to consolidate the two matters that Gene just talked about. You've got a habeas corpus petition, and then you also have what's called a request for resentencing. That's what she was talking about, where the Menendez brothers legal team has said to the judge, look, there's a law in California that says that if you commit a murder and you're under 26, that you are eligible for parole after 35 years. So it's 35 to life, not life without the possibility of parole. And the Menendez legal team is also arguing that the court needs to consider what Gene talked about, that note that one of the Menendez brothers wrote a month before the second trial happened. And that would be used then like a mitigation factor, right? To then have this judge eventually ruled, yes, we'll resentence. And then if he says yes to that, then it's got to go to a parole board then too. So this thing is not going to be wrapped up today or anytime soon. I expect there to be probably a consolidation of both these hearings and then a new court date set out probably a few weeks later to allow the new DA, Nathan Hochman, also to weigh in on what his recommendation is going to be.
And Brian, as Gene talked about, there are several pathways for the Menendez brothers that could lead to their release. There was discussion over a new trial, the resentencing, and then obviously the potential for Gavin Newsom to step in and grant clemency. Which do you see as the most likely path?
Yeah, great question, Boris. The most seamless route for the Menendez team is a resentencing hearing. They don't want to go do a new trial. These two young men at the time of the murder, they admitted they committed the murder. So the best you're going to get if you go to trial again is exactly what they're seeking in the resentencing, which is 35 to life. So that's the easiest way to get there. And I think they've got a decent chance. I've represented over 150 victims of child sexual abuse. Many of those victims now are adults. And I will tell you, Boris and Brianna, that these people are living in a different bubble. They have a lot of PTSD, and each victim of sexual abuse responds to the abuse and the PTSD in a unique way. And I think that's a factor that this judge is going to consider. One last point I want to make is Gascon actually made a good point at his press conference a couple weeks ago. He said, look, I have resentenced over 300 criminal defendants in my 4-year term. Of those 300 that were resentenced, only 14 had a recidivism rate or committed another crime. That's less than 5%. So I think that's a compelling factor that I think the judge will ultimately take this up. He'll set a new hearing date, and I think you're likely to probably see a resentencing.
Brian, thank you so much to both of you.